Nice.
And we are live. What's up, everyone? Welcome to Crypto Grinders. And today we have Komodo team. All right, guys, please feel free to introduce yourselves. And, I think the chat is very, very excited because we're going to have a little bit of a sneak preview about what Monaize is all about. The ICO is happening very, very soon. But I think today's episode is all about Komodo. I think Komodo Platform has grown from strength to strength. Literally, it has 22.5 thousand Twitter followers, a very, very strong community. Guys, what has been happening, man? Please share a little bit about yourselves first. So maybe we start with CA.
So hey guys, I'm CA333. I'm one of the lead developers at the Komodo Platform and currently heading up the tech division. We started in the security division, been heading up security there. And yeah, since then, a lot's been happening. So I'll pass the word over to Gravel Setinder, also one of our lead developers.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me here, Ryan. And hello, everybody on the YouTube and anywhere else you guys are watching. My name is Satinder Garewal, and I joined as a GUI web developer in the Komodo platform, and now working as a project manager. Not just that, I'm also managing many other aspects of the project in various areas, like wherever I'm able to help the team. So because my past experience in this IT industry of last decade of experience makes it possible to help the team in different areas, in marketing, in documentation, in recruitment, in explaining support, development, testing, all kind of different things. So this is all my domain. This is what I love to do. So that's why I'm in this project. It's a cutting edge technology and I love to do experimenting and breaking my computer with that. So yeah,
I'm sure all developers love to do that, man. Okay, yeah. I just want to understand, the essence of why did the both of you actually choose out of so many blockchain, so many blockchain projects out there, what made you all come together and, build Komodo? I mean, it used to be a privacy coin, and then after that it evolved into a platform, and then now it's a growing ecosystem. It's really exciting. I mean, literally, I've seen you guys grow from strength to strength. So care to give a little bit about a history, especially about SuperNet, and maybe, let the audience understand how did this all come about?
Sure. Well, first of all, just to answer the question, why we picked out this project in this ecosystem. Well, apart from the technology, and we've been like many steps ahead of like other projects. It's like, first of all, like for me personally, it was the vision that the Komodo platform, the SuperNet vision, like was sharing our ideology, and we stand for uniting knowledge, uniting forces, uniting resources, working together. We don't treat other projects as competition. Like I quote always Gravel Satinder in this case, and he says like they aren't our competition. Our competition is the fiat world. Our competition is the traditional, like intransparent banking world. That's more or less our competition. And that was, for me, that was the main reason. It was the vision, it was the project team. We are like around 40 people now, and like very decent guys, people who share these humanitarian values and the vision that we need to decentralize just everything to create a real trustless and blockchain-based society.
All right.
And as for the history, Gravel Satinder will be able to tell something about like the SuperNet, the very first steps in our project, and how we evolved like from two different things. Like from first aspect, it was the core technology, all the tools we developed, the atomic swap protocol, the decentralized exchange, which is based on that, the Jumblering technology, our anonymizing technology. That was all developed within the SuperNet organization, within the SuperNet vision, and now moving, like everything is moving into the Komodo platform, and we built this mighty blockchain framework, which doesn't just give you the possibility to create decentralized applications or spin off your very own fully independent blockchain which inherits all those functionalities, it's far more. And then I'll hand the word over again to Gravel. He'll be able to give you a nice view from the historical aspect.
Yeah, sure. So the question is why we joined, and my reason for joining is the kind of things that I do, the kind of things I love to do. When I was graduating and when I was studying in the college and the uni, I was doing things which the seniors were doing ahead of time. I was exploring and I was trying to find new ways to, exploring in the IT industry. So I came across Linux. I tried Linux distributions. I played with so many open source softwares. I certified myself in Linux technologies and then Microsoft technologies. I've worked in this industry as a Linux administrator. I made websites. I made open source softwares. I contributed for free. Even before anything like we see in cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and all that stuff, I love to share what I had. I love to share whatever I was learning. So open source kind of thoughts were already a part of me, my thinking and the doing of stuff. So all of that led to me doing all the stuff, the things which gave me the knowledge of and the wisdom of different people. Because I've been driving the Linux era and learning out of experimenting. Nobody taught me much except the teachers who gave me certification, who gave me the knowledge of Linux systems. But after that, it's a long road to learn and experiment. So when I was doing my job and the day job, I was giving solution as well. Being a small entrepreneur, I was giving solution to the industry. And then when I moved to New Zealand, I'm basically from India, North India. Then I moved to New Zealand. I worked here. And when I was working for a company over here, I found cryptocurrency. There was a Bitcoin tutorial from lynda.com. I think I downloaded that back in 2013 or something. I never looked at it. Then one evening in December 2014, I watched it, and that was the day I never looked back. And then soon after, I found SuperNet, and there I found the true essence, the true thoughts of open source technologies and the way people are working in that. In those sense, I was contributing a free software called SuperMesh. Let's talk about that later on. And I was giving for free the things that I learned. I was contributing. My way of learning is if I want to learn something, contribute to that. And I was contributing by using those different softwares. And there were so many softwares and technologies that James was working on. And so that's how I found James, and that's how I found SuperNet. That's how I found NXT. And that led to me work with the Komodo platform. At that time, when I found the philosophy of what he is working on, he was working on to unite the whole industry of cryptocurrency and not to compete with each other, but to help each other, be a friend with each other, and use each other's features at one single place. It's like I think many have heard about this. Like these cryptocurrencies are like different islands, and these islands has to unite. So there is a bridge. And I think that SuperNet and Komodo platform is the bridge because it is really helping all different cryptocurrencies to unite at one place, making a hub of it. And through that, it allows everybody to connect to each other. So that's what I do. And late in 2016, I quit my day job and now doing full-time work with Komodo platform. That's my reason of working with Komodo platform. Other than that, I didn't find as good as software, as good as advanced experimental stuff anybody else is doing, and as feature-rich as with the thoughts and thinking that matches my area of thinking. So that's why I love to work with SuperNet.
I think I had a 3-hour chat with these guys, and the amount of dedication that they put into the project is so immense and so intense, right? That it's one of those reasons why, you know, we are looking for proper talent and legitimate projects. Now, you guys are not only a privacy coin when you first started, you're literally now a whole platform and an ecosystem. Now, you guys are, of course, a decentralized ICO. Could you share a little bit about what that even means? Because you're saying that you're the world's first decentralized ICO. So care to share what that actually means to the world?
Okay, well, we've been developing our atomic swap protocol implementation the last years, and a couple of months ago, we've successfully started testing it through the core system. Like, we had native binaries which were providing this functionality. So it wasn't just a command line interface-based experimental test or something. No, it was like fully available functionality. Like right now available on GitHub, we even have like graphical user interface available for this. And we also saw that in specific, like in certain places on this world, they started banning the ICO ecosystems and basically really making it hard also for good logic projects to somehow get initial funding for their ideas. And a lot of them are genius ideas if we look at them. Also, the wider mass isn't that good. And we thought, okay, well, actually, we already have the technology to give somebody the ability to participate or issue such a token initialization, so an initial token or coin offering like we see. And we said, why don't we just utilize our available technology and give the users the ability to create a decentralized ICO in which the ICO isn't controlled somewhere like centralized or even on a centralized platform like, you know, for example, Ethereum, which makes you first of all, like depending on the underlying system, and on top of that, also limit all the functionalities. With the atomic swap protocol we developed, we really implemented a cross-chain atomic swap, which means there are different blockchains involved, different native blockchains, and not just tokens of the same platform and base system. All right, so, and that's where we moved. So we said, okay, let's do it. And while developing this system or utilizing our technologies to create the system, we got in touch with a corporation from France. It's called Monaize. It's offering a banking as a service platform, actually making the life for young entrepreneurs, startups easier, while giving them the ability to create a bank account, a European bank account, within 5 minutes. They have an app for that, it's fully online. And we saw that they were pretty much sharing the same vision that we did. And that was like make the life easier for the world citizens, for developers, for users, for investors, whatever. Like we target the whole area. And that's also something I want to point out, because our initial vision was just to interconnect all the different blockchains and provide the interoperability between them. But we moved on, and the next step, basically the evolution in our vision, was if you really want to change the world, and our plan is to decentralize just everything. So you can't just keep the blockchain space in your visions. You have to expand this vision. You have to also include the industry. And we just started with the banking, with the fintech sector, and included Monaize into our vision and said, okay, we created our platform and we were provably able to connect different blockchains. We're connecting communities, we're sharing knowledge, we're sharing resources, and said, now it's time to connect also the industry to this blockchain sphere. And that's where we fill the gap, not just between different blockchain products, but also between the industry and the blockchain space. And the next step, from my personal perspective, is that we'll be even able to connect different industries to each other through our platform. And that's also the dICO. We think dICO won't just be something blockchain-based projects are going to use. I mean, Monaize is using the blockchain tech now, and it's nice, it's very nice, because they are integrating this into the fintech space. So actually they're the evolution of fintech, as fintech is the evolution of banking. So that's how I look at them. And so, yeah, and as dICO, we also think that projects and startups which aren't 100% blockchain based will be using it as a method to fund their projects, their ideas, and it will be the basic layer. Our dICO system, I'm sure it's the basic layer for the so-called crowdfunding 2.0 or 3.0 generation.
Okay. So just a quick question, because crypto grinders basically assist traditional companies to integrate onto the blockchain. So literally, can I say that, let's say I am a traditional business and I would like to blockchain, or at least create a business around my existing business around blockchain technology. How easy is that for a traditional business to integrate at this current point with KMD?
Well, actually, it's very easy. I mean, if your company, now let's say you have a tech division, okay? You have at least a developer, you have somebody who has some tech knowledge.
What if I don't? Now, what if I don't?
Okay.
I'm a traditional business. Let's make it a bit tough.
Okay.
I don't have a tech team. Yeah.
Well, with this, well, actually, you need some tech. That's a pre-requirement. If not, you still can get in touch with us. Now, let's take Monaize as an example. They had zero blockchain knowledge. Like really nothing. There was nothing. But we are reliable partners, and we made this strategic partnership. It's not just a PR marketing thing. We offer them our support. We've been in Paris with them, in their headquarters, in their office. We've been developing together with their guys. We've introduced them. And even if they, let's say, would have needed a dedicated developer, we would support them in finding one, or at least defining the profile and the requirements in sense of skill and mindset. So they don't have to worry. But apart from that, we're also planning to provide some enterprise level solution for the blockchain. So let's say you have a company and you really need some dedicated work being done and so on. We'll work out a deal. We'll get in touch with you, like you can get in touch with us, and we'll just find a solution. Like no matter where's a will, there's a way. And we'll be able to fully integrate the blockchain tech, because our platform, and I always call it as a Komodo somehow blockchain framework, it is very similar to REST API frameworks. It's really all API based. You can use it language agnostic. You can use any coding language to implement your own solutions, to project your business logic fully to the blockchain and create your own decentralized society around our system.
Okay. So, Gruel, maybe I think being that I want to ask you a little bit of more on scalability and security. Now, you guys have a very unique consensus algorithm, which is called delayed proof of work. Now, please share a little bit about how that works and how is it used to secure the Komodo blockchain?
Maybe I should show an old presentation that I showed in a presentation here. Just a second.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
If that can help. So if that's the one, no, that's not this one. Okay, so let me go to the part delayed proof of work.
So maybe you can, if let's say privacy was the very first part, right? Maybe we can go from privacy and then delayed proof of work. It's fine as well. Because I think ultimately banks would like to have their transactions, their receivers, and who they send to private. You know, I think that's something that a lot of not just banks but companies would like as well. So if you could incorporate that in the explanation, that would be perfect as well.
Okay, so delayed proof of work. Let me explain what exactly delayed proof of work is. So you understand that the proof of work mechanism in which the transactions are validated by the miners and the blocks are generated, and that's how the consensus is made in the network. Now, what happens in the small cryptocurrencies, the small cryptocurrency projects, which are very small in very less mining power they have. In case some big miners join that mining power, they can attack on that network, like 51 cyber attack.
51% cyber, yeah, correct.
So that kind of attack is possible. Even more kind of attacks are possible. To secure themselves, delayed proof of work is the best choice. Delayed proof of work is compatible with not just proof of work compatible chain. it is also compatible with proof of stake-based blockchains as well. What it does is it puts a group signed transaction of the latest block hash of the blockchain which you are securing, and put that to a Bitcoin. So it's like sending a transaction on a Bitcoin network, but that is a group signed transaction. The group is a special set of notary nodes which are in that cryptocurrency coins network. They have the special power.
How do they get the special power? How do they become a notary node?
Well, you get elected by the stakeholders of that cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So the stakeholders, based on their stake, vote on to select the notary nodes. So once a notary node is there in the network, so as per the delayed proof of work specifications, there is a set of 64 notary nodes. So when the notary nodes are there, they are working together because of the protocol. They cannot cheat because the protocol enforces that. There are a set of rules which enforces those rules. So, those rules take the latest block hash of that cryptocurrency, and for doing that, they need Bitcoin, and because sending a transaction to Bitcoin network is in Bitcoin, so doing the same kind of mechanism, an asset chain like Monaize secure itself. Komodo notarizes its latest block hashes on Bitcoin, and the asset chain like Monaize, they notarize their latest block hash on Komodo. And the asset chain already has all the feature sets and all the abilities which Komodo has. So for asset chains, it's more cheaper, and because they need Komodo, and through the proxy of Komodo, they are securing themselves. And that's how they are getting the power of the security of Bitcoin level security on asset chains. So that's how this delayed proof of work in quick overview essence works.
Okay, so it's not just a transfer of money, and now this is also a consensus algorithm that you guys use to secure the network. Now, another thing would be your
Ryan,
yes.
I'll add just my 2 cents for the like non-technical people. So just in 2 sentences. So what we do actually is we take Komodo block information and store it into the Bitcoin blockchain. So that's it. It's a little complex process, and we do it through this notarization network, like Revel just pointed out. And it's a unique feature. It's a unique algorithm, and we are the first to implement it on top of the zero knowledge SNARK protocol implementation. So we're basically like that, just extended and more secure, more reliable. And as for the asset chains, like Revel said, they actually can do the same, and they will have even a double layer security. The first security is Komodo blockchain, and second security is the Bitcoin blockchain, makes them like even a little bit more secure than us. So that is the real benefit of this dPoW system.
Okay, so share a little bit about the privacy features that are possible for a company using the KMD platform.
The very first is the ZK SNARK capability. So because Komodo is a fork of Zcash, and it has all the capability that Zcash has, so that comes with ZK SNARK capability, which means the transactions in Komodo are private, which means the transactions are not giving any information: who is a sender, receiver, what is the amount sent, what time it was sent. And such information, when there is not, when it is encrypted in the network, so it doesn't give any chance to any analyst or any person who is analyzing those data to keep a track on the blockchain databases. So it gives a very algorithmic, from the mathematical point of view, that level of security. It's not like a mixing, it's not like tumbling. It's mathematical proven security, which is in the Komodo, which we got from Zcash project. So other than that, there is one more security level, which is Jumblr. So Jumblr uses ZK snark technology, which means with Jumblr, you can still have your public transactions, and those public transactions are still not be traceable. Recently, you might have heard like Bitcoin mixing networks and Bitcoin mixing sites has been turned down by their owners for mysterious reasons. So such kind of things has been running centrally, right? So all of these things that people have been experiencing to tumble those, mix those, to make their public Bitcoin transactions private and anonymous, not to be able to traceable where they originated from and where they are going. So those things are now possible in a decentralized, truly decentralized way with Komodo. Because with Komodo's Jumblr technology, what it does is it sends a transparent transaction to a private transaction, for example, Komodo. So Komodo's public transaction goes to the private transaction. From that private transaction, it goes to another private transaction. And from that private transaction, it goes back to the public transaction. But in all of that happening, there are certain things which are happening. There is a timing attack, which means it is randomly timed. There is amount of tokens sent, which means the tokens which are sent in this process are sent in small pieces, which means the amount of these transactions sent cannot be linked with each other. How many transactions has been shifted or moved between these timelines and how much the amount it was transacted. And in case you want to do tumbling or jumbling of Bitcoin, the atomic swap protocol works. It comes into the process. So when you initiate the process of jumbling BTC, first the protocol initiates the atomic swap to Komodo, and then the same thing happens. Transparent to public, private, then private to another private, and then private to transparent of Komodo, and that transparent Komodo turns back to the Bitcoin. And this is not just limited to the Bitcoin. It is available or it is accessible to any supported cryptocurrency coin which is supported by the BarterDEX system or the Agama wallet system. So which means all the asset chains are supported. All the cryptocurrencies which are available in BarterDEX to trade with each other through atomic swaps are supported for jumbling process. So any of these cryptocurrencies can make their own cryptocurrencies public transactions private and anonymous, non-trackable. There is no history which can be tracked to where they originated from. So this is the extra service of security, privacy service, which Komodo provides. I don't think anybody else provides this kind of level of security and the privacy and anonymity that level of Jumblr provides in the network. And that true in a decentralized manner.
CA, do you have anything to add? Or that was very well explained because I actually understood it.
Excellent. Yeah, same goes for me. My wife as well. She's listening to it as well. She said like, nice, very nice explanation, very clear. Great.
All right. So we've covered the consensus algorithm. We've covered the privacy. Now on to the scalability. So as we all know that Bitcoin is struggling with scalability issues. That's why we're all having the hard fork and all. So it's a two-part question now. Whenever there's a fork, or if there's, okay, this is actually part one and then 1A, 1B, right? If there is, for example, the network, for example, now Bitcoin network is having a large part of the mining power coming from one particular portion of miners. And in the event that, the network is having this kind of centralization, does it affect you guys? Because you mentioned that, yours is the first layer of security, but you still also use the Bitcoin blockchain. So that's one. The second one is if, let's say, for example, in the event, let's say China were to ban mining, okay, does that affect you guys directly, or it doesn't actually affect anything at all? Then the next question would be scalability, right? How scalable are you guys? Because I understand that your blocks are one minute blocks, right? So it's very much faster than the current 10-minute blocks, or the broadcasting time is actually 10 minutes on the Bitcoin blockchain. You guys are 1 minute broadcasting. So, so try to try to see, and then
okay, good.
Yeah.
Now as the first question, I think it also covers like question 1A and 1B somehow.
Yes, correct.
Because in the end, our dPoW algorithm is an additional security layer and providing a fallback solution for the case something happens to the Komodo platform. Now, let's say something really drastically changes in the Bitcoin protocol implementation.
Yeah.
We're still being able to adapt our dPoW notarization algorithm and have all notaries just updated. It won't ever affect our blockchain or like fork our blockchain because of something happened on the Bitcoin blockchain. So that's a secure point. We secured it pretty good. As for the question 1, 2,
B,
yeah,
1B,
same. It's
1B.
1B.
Yeah.
1B, that means like it's covered. So even if something forks, if something happens, we could even now, let's say really China stops mining and Bitcoin isn't the strongest chain anymore.
Yes.
And let's say Litecoin becomes the strongest chain from a cryptology point of view. We could say, okay, no problem. We'll adapt our protocol and we'll be notarizing into the Litecoin blockchain.
You remember the recent thing happened when Bitcoin's fees was so high that our delayed proof of work transactions were not processing at all for hours?
Yes.
I want to give you that example for now. So when that situation was on us, the notary nodes are getting ready so that we can move our delayed proof of work on Litecoin or maybe Dogecoin, because those were the second choice for us for the mining power. Because we want our delayed proof of work security to be smooth as working, notarizing continuously as much possible. And you also said one point which says because Bitcoin has 10 minutes of block and we are using in Komodo 1 minute of block, right? Means the interval of those blocks generation. In this sense, it is not so necessary that we will be doing all the notarizations in one day that the block is expected to generate. For example, how many block it generates? 140 something blocks? How many in one day Bitcoin?
1440.
Yeah, so it is not necessary to generate notarization for every single block. We can also have like a 900 or 800 or 1000 or maybe 1200. It is not so necessary. It's not a hard and fast rule. It's very much flexible with that. So all we need is the latest notarization processed on the Bitcoin network. So that is the case. So when this situation was on our notary nodes, we were at the situation when James Lee, JL777, who is the core developer of Komodo Platform. So he said he is working on the process and he is already ready. Whenever the situation will be, he will be pushing the hotfix on the notary node code base, and all the notary nodes will update, and then we will just start the process again, and all the 64 notary nodes will start notarizing in Litecoin or Dogecoin, whichever we choose to. There was another third option, which was in case there was some problem with Litecoin as well, because some people say there is a majority of miners who are controlling the Litecoin network are in China, or such kind of different views or different projects or different people. So in this case, we cannot just use Bitcoin, not just Litecoin, we can use more than of these different networks to put our notarization hashes on their blockchains, which means we can at the same time can use Bitcoin. Every 10 minutes, it could send the notarization transaction to Bitcoin with higher fees, or maybe not 10 minutes, maybe in every 6 blocks, maybe every 12 blocks, it could be defined. So the same way it can be done on the Litecoin network as well, because Litecoin, how much is that 2.5 minutes? So it could be set to put like every 2 blocks on Litecoin. And for the other settings, it could be sending the hash of notarization on Dogecoin as well. So it's a flexible system, very much flexible system. Whenever there is a need arises to move the notarization from one blockchain to the another, there is much flexibility for the notarization. And it's not just specific to the Komodo. In case some other different project starts to adopt the delayed proof of work security for their blockchain, they can do that. Easily they can do that. And they can either choose to have use the Komodo nodes, Komodo currency, and notarize their blocks on top of Komodo, because Komodo is already doing the hard work for them. We have the funds, the Bitcoins raised in our Komodo ICO, which we are using mainly for the notarization process. So we are covered for the whole decade and even more. So this is the proper answer for the security of the delayed proof of work with the first question. And the second question, I let CH get.
The scalability.
Yeah, the scalability. Yeah. Now, as for the scalability, I will get again back to the block size thing.
Yes, so, please.
I've made a comparison with our network engineer, our leading network engineer, Colo, some months ago. And we were looking like, so now let's say even somebody sends like 1,000 transactions per second on top of our blockchain, okay? As we just have like a minute of block time, our mempool, so our buffer of unconfirmed transactions, unmined transactions, will be emptied within minutes after such an attack. So, and on top of that, this attack is actually, it's not practicable, it's impractical, because it will become like too expensive. And so unless like BU implements like 20 megabyte block size, we will still be like faster. And now comes the thing, should we ever really face problems in this sense of not being scalable enough? We could still improve our protocol. That's our advantage. We don't turn it into a political discussion. So now that's like my personal opinion, but we are able to improve and to optimize where there's need for an optimization. Something we missed with legacy blockchains, facing problems of not being that scalable and somehow limited. So yeah, so with around 2,000 bytes per transaction in average, and around 2 megabyte block size, we'll get like 1,000 transactions into it without any problem. And we don't even reach like 5% of this because of the minute block time. That's like our big advantage compared to other cryptocurrencies, that we're pretty fast in confirming our transactions.
Let me show you a slide relating to that. It is called the peer chains.
Yeah, because why I even asked, I mean, scalability is always an issue with decentralized networks, right? So it's just a matter of how do you all get there and by when, and whichever blockchain could achieve that in terms of matching, for example, transactions like Visa, where they can do 250,000 transactions in a particular second. Whoever can start to do that, the fastest wins. Right? Because that's the ultimate goal. Because if currently now, I think transactions are always a struggle. Even Ethereum is struggling with scalability issues, and they are one of the largest and longest smart contract platform networks out there. So I'm just wondering, like for you guys, say for example, right now, you are able to do 1,000, as you mentioned, 1,000 transactions per second.
We can go above this. This was just the number to just like give an example.
Nice.
On like how capable we are. Like with 1,000 transactions per second, I said, even like if somebody thinks, okay, I want to spend some Komodos just for the network and I'll create like thousands of transactions,
sure,
it will be no problem for us to handle this mass of transactions. And as for the scalability, it's the same. Like I have a wife, I have just one child. We are okay with a little car. We don't need a bus right now.
Yeah.
But we could get the bus anytime. And that's the same with us. Like if we really need to optimize and scale it up, as long as we don't need 3-4 megabyte block sizes, it wouldn't make much sense to implement them because there is absolutely no need for it. It's just a potential risk of bloating up the blockchain a little bit and making it bigger, because you never know. It's like the same if you give somebody a red button, which is like clear all your funds and delete all private keys, you will still find some people who are gonna press this button. And it's the same if you provide like a oversized blockchain, you'll find somebody who's going to somehow abuse it. If not on the Komodo blockchain, blockchain because it's too expensive. He's gonna try it within a set chain or something like that. So there's always also this security aspect which we take in mind when making those sort of decisions. And within our community, within our lead developer team, we handle those sort of things just democracy. Like the election of the notary nodes, we think the only real way to implement what the user wants and what is good for a project is if there is a consensus. And so you have to build consensus. And that's where we think we have the advantage compared to other projects, because we won't turn it into a political discussion. It's a very simple question, like, do you need it now? Yes or no? If it's a clear yes, we're gonna implement and improve the protocol.
Right, okay. So yeah, I mean, please feel free to share on what this slide means, and also help the audience understand, in terms of, how are you all able to scale? I mean, was that the explanation already? That's done?
Yeah, well, I mean, Grevel may add some words to it.
Okay, let me show you asset chains actually. And the asset chain, okay, so these are the asset chains, the properties of asset chains. If you want to know what is an asset chain, these are the main key points of that asset chain. So it's a totally independent blockchain, which is very much like the Litecoin is totally independent, Ethereum is totally independent, Zcash is independent than Bitcoin. Anything happens between each of these does not affect each other. So anything happens to the Komodo, it does not affect either Komodo or any other different asset chain in the ecosystem. So it all has all the delayed proof of work security, and they are on-demand blocks. Whenever there is a transaction, only then a block will be mined. Other than that, there will be no processing, no system resources consumed. And it inherits all the features of the Komodo, which means the key value storage, and the delayed proof of work, the private transactions, atomic swappable tokens, and these are very much light. So that's the very quick information of asset chains. And when you talk about the creation or the scalability system, well, this slide shows how quickly a developer can make the asset chain. It's just two commands. One command, which is the name and the supply. It is executed on the server, or you can say the public system, which is accessible anywhere on global. And the other command is executed on the client side, whoever wants to connect to that, because at least one system has to come online to serve, to say, yeah, I'm the first one, and you can generate or you can connect to me. And from there on, the network expands, and the first node can take a lead. And that's how the network goes exponentially big. So then the other part is the native decentralized exchange, which is atomic swap technology, atomic swap trades, the XCAT, which is also another term used in the industry. So so the peer chains is the next evolution of combination of all these different technologies, asset chains and atomic swaps. And because the asset chains are so much light on the system, so much lightweight on the performance and fast as well, and as secure as Bitcoin because of the delayed proof of work security, and because the asset chains are atomic swappable, this technology can be used as a dynamic creation of asset chains, which means whenever there is a need to increase the transaction capability, there can be hundreds or thousands of dynamic asset chains generate at the same time as the network needs. So it's expansion, and it goes small as per the need of the transaction capability need, which means the pegged value of these chains, it is called peer chains technology. The term is peer chains. So that is a scalability solution, which dynamically creates 1:1 of swappable Komodo tokens to these peer chains, which are pegged to each other. So because Komodo has a 2 MB block size, So it gives the example of 2 MB block size and let's say 4,000 transactions per block. We start at 60 plus transactions per second at full saturation. And with 100 chains in parallel, that is already 6,000 transactions per second. And with our demo, we plan to have if all goes well, it will be exceeding 10,000 transactions per second. So that is the dynamic transaction going so much in high frequency and high volume. So that is the capability of the peer chains technology, which is a combination of asset chains and atomic swaps. So so that is exciting. Whenever it's exciting.
So actually you create like a clone of your chain, and
yes,
they're like fungible tokens which are tradable one by one. And you scale it up, like let's say you have 100 chains, it will scale up exponentially with 100, and that's like what.
Yeah. And that is not like manual stuff. That is going to be a dynamic. It will be going up and down in the value, like in creation on
whenever needed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the next thing that I want to ask is basically the decentralized exchange. So the barter DEX is actually something unique that you guys created. Now, how is that different from a decentralized exchange? Or they have shared similar properties, but what's unique about the barter DEX?
Well, actually, the barter DEX is the very first real decentralized exchange, because first of all, we're not limited to just a single chain. Like now, let's say OWIX, which is based on like ERC20 tokens, or you have like Kyber. I don't know. There are a lot of like those projects which built on top of the Ethereum platform are limited to ERC20 tokens.
Yes.
They don't have a real cross-chain atomic swap protocol. They don't have it. We are the one and only blockchain framework and platform which supports like fully 100% cross-chain atomic swap protocol.
Wait. I need to ask this question. When you say swap cross-chain, do you mean that also in the future? Because right now I understand that you can swap between Litecoin, Vertcoin, is it Decred, something like that for now? Anything that's on the Bitcoin. But can you go to, for example, Ethereum? Could you go to OMG? Could you go to, for example, Quantum, something like that?
I'll come to this point.
Sure.
I'll answer it shortly.
Sure.
Yeah. So so first of all, we're really the very first blockchain-based platform who provides full cross-chain atomic swap. In this integrated form as we do it. We have the full implementation ready to download and to use. We have even the binaries and the executables ready, graphical user interface. So it's not just somehow a functioning prototype compared to many other projects who don't even provide the full functionality we do. And a good question, because we are focusing on the technology we built up right now, and that's providing a full atomic swap protocol. And on top of that, we've even implemented SPV network capabilities. So that means you can connect to a set of lightweight networks. As an example, take Electrum, the Electrum wallet.
Yes.
Communicates with nodes in the internet, which provide the Electrum wallet just the blockchain information that you need as a user, so you don't have to download the full blockchain. So what we did, we are utilizing this technology, and we fully integrated it into our barter DEX system. That means, now let's say the Ethereum developers at some point of time decide to create a real pay-to-script hash transaction technology into their ecosystem, or even provide an SPV, lightweight network API binding, a layer. That would give us the ability to very easily, without a lot of technical effort, implement it. I'm sure it may come in the future. We don't know if user requests are here, but right now there's not the demand. We don't feel that the demand is here. We even get in contact with a couple of ERC20 tokens who plan to move over to the Komodo platform. So on top of that, Gravel. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, Gravel.
So I want to touch on this question again. So the question you are saying is, what makes the decentralized exchange of ours so different than others, isn't it?
Yes, and
So
also could there potentially be, when you say, because cross-chain, right, it's a very big, very broad way of saying that you can easily swap between one token to another, right?
Between different blockchains. With
Yes,
different algorithms.
between different blockchains. Yes, so
yes, and we have a fully automated order matching, and that's also something which the others don't have. That we even said,
so the very first thing that you need to understand with our decentralized exchange atomic swappable technology is, first two things is, we do not need to have SegWit activated in Komodo. The SegWit is not needed at all. We can still do the atomic swap in Komodo,
nice.
and also use the technology that we have in atomic swap technology.
Skip the BS, right? Just skip all the BS and just get
I don't call SegWit BS. It's a really what you say, a genius way that developers has done. I like it. But in Komodo, we don't need SegWit. And it is doing atomic swap without SegWit technology between Bitcoin, between Litecoin, between WorldCoin, Syscoin, any supported cryptocurrency. Now, which are the supported cryptocurrencies? Those are the supported currencies which are Bitcoin compatible, Bitcoin code compatible, which are closer to the Bitcoin code base. Which means the cryptocurrencies which has very less modifications done in the cryptocurrency, the forks that have done. Now, in case you take Ethereum, in case you take Waves or NXT or NEM or like these have made all their technologies from scratch. They have done so much different stuff, but also doing all of these things within the protocol, which is decentralized protocol of the idea of Bitcoin. But they are using different mechanism to do things. Ethereum, well, I was asking the community, the developers and the local developers, in case I want to ask somebody to help us to integrate Ethereum in our atomic swap technology, the decentralized exchange. How can I help, and how can I get a help from Ethereum network? So what I found was the Ethereum network does not has the multi-signature capability in its core. This functionality has been moved to the smart contracts. So in case some other project needs to utilize this technology, they have to use smart contract capability. In our atomic swap technology, we are using Tyre Nolan white paper and his advancements in atomic swap technology. And using those, we can use the multi-signature and the CLTV feature, check log time verification. And doing those, we can support older forms of cryptocurrencies as well. Okay. So this limits us to the Bitcoin compatible coins, which are supported in our atomic swaps. So that means, unfortunately, at this moment, we don't have any solution to do atomic swap with Ethereum or Ethereum compatible cryptocurrencies. Maybe possible, it is possible in the future, because I see Zcash and Ethereum guys are working together. They're collaborating with each other. So there could be possible ways that Zcash and Ethereum will be doing atomic swaps. Maybe possible they have. I'm not updated with this situation. So in case there is a solution, we can adopt that, because Komodo is the fork of Zcash. So indirectly, the community, the ecosystem is already helping each other. So now let's come to the decentralized atomic swap technology, how it's that different than the other solutions that the other community projects are presenting in the in this industry. Now, in a complete atomic swap solution, there are three key points that I understand needs. One is the atomic swap, which means one token can be traded to the another X token in the network without having a third party. And that is possible from the idea of atomic swap. I think it is popular since 2013. And Tyler Nolan was the person who first brought this idea of atomic swap. And since then, people have been trying to figure out what is the best way, what is the securest way, and without having any attack vectors to do the atomic swap. Now, JL777, James Lee, he worked with Tyler Nolan. You can find his Bitcoin Talk forum threads. You can find his white paper upgrades on the GitHub. Tyler Nolan has his white paper on the GitHub as well, the developers network. So these improvements, the testing, the penetration, the vulnerability finding, and attack on the attack vector solutions that they work together improve the Tyler Nolan's mathematical logic, and all these things improved and applied to the code base that James Lee implemented in BarterDEX. And I was talking about the first thing, atomic swap. I was talking about the three things. Now the second thing is order book. How somebody sees the order book in a decentralized manner. Yes. For that, BarterDEX is an individual, independent, peer-to-peer network. If, in case you understand the peer-to-peer network, it does not need a central point. It is very much like the Bitcoin network is. So Bitcoin network has a central point. So BarterDEX does not have a central point, and it is making its own network. And within this network, any person who is having more than the coins running on their computer and they're connected to this BarterDEX software, and this BarterDEX software is on its own peer-to-peer network, all these different cryptocurrencies can talk to each other. Now, in this process, there is a third key point, which is order matching. Now, for the other atomic swap, demonstrations that I have seen online, they have been doing this demonstration like, I have made this hash, I'm sharing this hash with you on a message, like could be a messenger, could be Slack, could be TeamViewer, or could be anything. So they've been exchanging these hashes and these answers that they need to complete the atomic swap manually through the messages. In our system, all this order matching and finding the order book in the network is already built in the network, this peer-to-peer BarterDEX network. So these three key solutions make our network complete atomic swap solutions. That's why when CA333 says that we have the full atomic swap capability, that is what he means. We have all these three combined key solutions in our BarterDEX system. So other than these, we have gone beyond these capabilities because atomic swap capability is not like a centralized website, centralized exchange. So all the cryptocurrency coins are sitting in the user's own wallet. It's very much like a user has a full Bitcoin Core wallet. It has the full 150 plus gigabit of blockchain sitting on that user's computer. And he or she can just take this coins and connect the BarterDEX software to this full Bitcoin software, and it talks to each other. And through BarterDEX, Bitcoin can be traded within the BarterDEX network, which is a peer-to-peer network. And that is where things get starting very interesting. Now, it is very difficult for end user to even synchronize with Bitcoin full blockchain. It's a very heavy blockchain. Imagine those people who are running their connections on 256 kbps. There are still places, many places in the world, like there is no even internet. So there are so network connections. So in those cases, the solution is to use the Electrum-based SPV mode trades. And with our BarterDEX, we have tested those. We have improved those situations where people can do these atomic swaps on Electrum mode, which means the user does not even need to have the Bitcoin full software installed on their system. In case they activate the light mode, the Electrum SPV mode in the BarterDEX software, they can just do the trades without even having a wallet on local system. In that case, BarterDEX has the capability to behave like a wallet for them, because it gives them a deposit address, a receiving address. So it is very much like a wallet as well, and a decentralized exchange as well. Because throughout the years, like since 2013-14, that James has been working on this software, he wrote the full implementation of Bitcoin software from scratch in C language. And in this implementation that he wrote, he made so many improvements and so many things that his implementation is not just compatible with one coin, it's compatible with many different coins. And that's how the BarterDEX system is able to talk to many different Bitcoin compatible coins and able to give deposit and receive address. Now, being able to generate and handle the different addresses and wallet capabilities in the BarterDEX system, it has more features. Like in the decentralized exchange, it's not just like a database entry on a centralized website's centralized exchanges website. Like one user has X currency and he traded for the another Y currency, and just the database entry is updated. Not just like that. It needs a real main network of cryptocurrencies confirmations, which means Bitcoin has 10 minutes of confirmation time for a transaction verification. Litecoin has 2.5. Komodo has 1. Zcash has 2.5 something. Different blockchain has different confirmation times. And by default, in case there is some reorg happen in the blockchain, the transaction has to be processed again or be verified again to be secure enough. So in those kind of situations, that's why the atomic swap needs to wait for the good certain confirmation time, so that it is known to be secure enough, and that's how the transaction is completed as atomic swappable. But with our BarterDEX system, we have given the option to users to choose which level of confirmation they want to choose, and that is not globally set, like give us like 4 confirmation every coin. No, it's specific to every specific coin. The user himself or herself can decide which confirmation they want to use for specific coins. On top of that, we have gone even more beyond. For example, me and CA know each other, but we are far apart on the global, which we are, and we want to still trade our coins with each other. We trust each other already. So what we do is we exchange each other's public key. I give my public key to CA333. He gives his public key to me. And BarterDEX gives you the option to whitelist and blacklist those public keys. Now, when we whitelist the public key, whenever I will put the trade in the BarterDEX, it will be happening blazingly fast, because we can also do another interesting thing. We can set our settings to 0 confirmations for the person that we trust.
Right. Fair.
That's a very interesting thing.
API. Yeah. It makes it really instant. It gives you this instant trading experience, and it's.
So that's the trust API, which we have. I don't think anybody has just covered the atomic swap, the 3 key points that I explained to you. Yeah. And we have gone even beyond the 3 key points that we need to make the atomic swappable. I can even tell you more things that happen.
And it gets better. It gets even better. I will add one single point. We didn't have Schrödinger as output, right, Gravel? Okay. So
say again?
You can even use one unspent output you place in such an order book and multiply those orders. Now, let's say I have 1 Bitcoin. I want to buy Komodos with that Bitcoin. I can also place an order for buying Litecoins and another order for buying Monaize tokens and so on. So actually, I could like generate thousands of Bitcoins worth orders with just 1 single Bitcoin. And the very first order that gets fulfilled will just clear all the other orders out of the order book.
Let me cover a few more points using this point. I have read on the community that, okay, fine, you are giving us the capability to multiply the liquidity of our funds, but it is an illusion for the trader. Okay, I understand where you are coming from, but it is not just an illusion. It's actual profitable trade for the trader. Whenever there is, for example, a dump happens, whenever the price goes up, those trees can those multiple trades for the different cryptocurrencies that the same Bitcoin is used for can be doing those trades. Means it's a profitable tool for the traders. They can make more using this tool. And whenever some trade completes, it doesn't mean it is still there. Because it's already spent, it cannot be. So the other trades canceled, and the other settings there are, which are like the portfolio. I didn't mention the portfolio part, isn't it? So the BarterDEX also has the portfolio API in its core features. And the portfolio lets you decide what goal you want to achieve. For example, I have 90% of the value Bitcoin with me in my wallet, and the 10% is in Komodo, and I have 0% in Monaize, and I have 0% in Litecoin. Now I activate these coins in my BarterDEX wallet. I specify I want to achieve to the goal of 50% BTC, 50% Komodo, 50% Litecoin, and 50% Monaize. I will activate that. I will say I will activate the auto margin trade for this. I put the margin 0.1%. Or 1%, or however I choose to. And when I push the auto goal or set the goal, it will start doing automatic trades, which means it will be driving itself towards the goal, where it will be making all the trades to reach my portfolio goal in the pie chart. For example,
this is already functioning.
It is already functioning.
It's not part of the GUI also, but it is a functioning feature which is accessible to the API, but it gets better. Yesterday, James implemented a so-called bot by API. So actually you can like even go so far and say, okay, I have 1 Bitcoin, and you can make it like pretty precise. You define a max price, the volume, in this case 1 Bitcoin, and which coin you want to buy. Exactly. And it will buy it. It's like a limit buy order in a centralized exchange. It's like comparable.
I'm actually quite blown away. So wait, let me ask a few more. Let me add on to the question. Okay, after okay, is this a smart contract?
No.
Is it considered? It's an API. So it's not a GUI yet. That means a user may not be able to do that as of now. Is that?
I'm making this GUI right now.
The last feature is being implemented right now as we speak. That will be available. It's a matter of how.
There are 3 GUI projects running simultaneously side by side in parallel. Okay. And one of that project is mine, which I call it simple GUI, because it is literally a very simple GUI. But my part of GUI is covering the portfolio and the auto trade bots features. So the latest APIs that James has built in last day, like yesterday, the trade bots portfolio has been done for a long time already, and I have given that GUI already in the ugly GUI that I made specifically for a reference for the developers, using which the BarterDEX application has been built by the BuildDog team. So there's a BuildDog team who is making the BarterDEX software, the application, the GUI application. The screenshots that usually people have seen on the Twitter feed are from the BuildDog team. They have done amazing jobs, shiny, nice, easy to use, very much understandable. And then there is another team. It's from Pondsey. I'm sorry that sorry mate that I don't see how his username to pronounce. So he is also making a different full centralized GUI kind of GUI, and then there is Celia 333. he is also making a Bitcoin QT like GUI. So there are not just one or three, there are a few more people working on this. And my part is working on the automated part, the portfolio part, and the trade bots part. I'm including that in my GUI. So when you say it's in GUI or not in GUI, it is in the works. Hopefully people will get multiple GUI options to choose from and experiment with. And that's going to be like
because it's very powerful. Those who want to trade can trade. Those who want to actually be investors and actually create a portfolio within the cryptocurrency space can actually have this automated. And okay, wait. Let me ask another question. Can orders can orders be can there be laddered orders? For example, if I have 100,000 that I would like to invest in, say, 5 different coins, and can it be set, for example, like you mentioned, there's a goal to have 20%, 20%, 20%, but is it the orders would gradually try to fill up as quickly, or I can actually set sub orders within each token? Is that possible?
We are working on adding a priority to this API. So this is part of the plan to if you have like multiple goals for your portfolio, to also being able to set the priority.
Okay.
But the goal of portfolio API is to reach to the end goal by making those trades. It will be doing also selling. It will also be doing buying to reach the goal of
what is the priority? What is the determination of the priority if that's the case? So it's just making sure that it arrives at that asset allocation. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That means to reach the end goal.
To reach the end goal. So that means it cannot really tell, for example, if it's for example a key Fibonacci level, so that I as an investor, right, I can enter at a favorable position or entry point rather than just achieving that 25%. Can it do that?
Well, interesting. It's not defined that precise at the current stage of implementation.
No problem.
But we'll take this. We'll consider this. We'll value your feedback.
You know what I mean, right? Because most of the time,
I know what you mean.
From an investor standpoint, I shouldn't care because I just want to have 20. Let's say I have 100,000. I want to have 20% in a particular cryptocurrency. That's all I care about. But what if there was a way of, for example, having a dollar cost average, but at very optimal price points? That would be quite sick. So I'm not sure how difficult that is, because currently now there's no system that can actually do that, right? Because it's between trading come asset allocation or portfolio management. It's two different things. So I'm not sure whether the integration is achievable, but that's something to consider. Because
the integration is achievable, but the current implementation is not that precise.
So
right now, James has been doing the work of to taking the BarterDEX code base to the level where there is no bugs in the system.
No problem.
So on 29th, he declared to the team, to the testers, like to his level of code base, the code base of BarterDEX is feature complete from the core level. From there on, he is just waiting for the must fix bugs, which any person who is a tester, who is a user finds, and he needs to fix those. Now he is getting very less bug reports from the users, the testers. So he is now having more time to do beyond things. Then he yesterday made the trade bots. He took like around 12 something hours to make the whole trade bots functionality, which runs on top of BarterDEX system. So this is very first and a very basic thing, which does everything as expected. And it is still improving. So you can say it's a version 0 of the trade bot system. Now there is going to be version 1, version 2, version 3, and so on and beyond. And I know he explained those things, and I'm sure he will be doing all of these things that you are saying, like by Fibonacci matching and order trades. So those are in the plans of the future. The current functionality has to have a decentralized exchange, which works without any attack vectors, without any security flaws or any problems and issues. And
that
the
should
end
always be the
users
priority.
can use that on the easier level. So right now, those things are easy. He made the TradeBot feature just because few users, they're very much new users, were not able to make manual trades properly because it has some level of advancement in the back end. So the TradeBot feature is very easy for them. It's like very much like giving one command. Okay, just my maximum amount is like 3 or like 50. Do trades until my orders are filled. It just keep doing those trades, and that's a very basic. The condition is very much basic for the sell as well and for the buy side as well. So the user just once start this process of bot maker, and it just automatically keep making the trades. Or pushing the trades, and once the trades has been completed, his goal has been reached, the trade pauses itself, or the user can just pause the trade itself, or can stop itself, or it can change the settings or the parameters of the order for the buy side or the sell side. So all these things are over there, but it's going to naturally and by the time evolve to the next version. And I'm sure we will see those things. And I'm sure I'll be a few of those able to deliver this in the GUI form.
All right. Guys, we are running out of time. So maybe we can cover a little bit about the decentralized ICO, which is going to be Monaize, right?
The first dICO will be,
the first, dICO on KMD platform. So now, why are you all open out of all the projects? Why Monaize? What makes them so great?
Well, like aforementioned, we feel that they share pretty much the same vision and ideology, like our whole team and our project vision. And they're trying to make the world easier and better for the little guy. So the average human who's struggling to get a bank account now, in particular in France, for example, in many Central European countries. If you run a little business, or if you just launched your business, or let's take Uber drivers, Airbnb hosts, you go to a bank, like all those big banks, you try to get a bank account to handle all those transactions clean and legit. You have to bring like certifications, liquidity proofs. Some even request you to initially fund your bank account with some certain amount. So if you don't have money on the side, if you don't afford all those certificates, good standing certificates, you just won't get a bank account. A lot of them use their private bank accounts. That's something which is considered not it's not illegal in the sense of getting prosecuted, but you get issues with the tax authorities. And Monaize was the very first bank who gives their users the ability to get a bank account within 5 minutes. That was something we were impressed. But the reasons impressed us because they said they wanted to help those little guys, those entrepreneurs, those startups, to just remove this barrier, which is preventing a lot of people from implementing and realizing genius, great ideas. And furthermore, they even said they are figuring out, they're around for multiple years. So Monaize, the corporation itself, wasn't born just yesterday. They have been around for a long time. They have a fully functioning product that's already implemented. We've visited them at their headquarters in Paris. And it really, the very first time we met them in Copenhagen at the Money 2020, we knew that it's going to end in a strategic partnership with them because we felt, well, we share the same vision. And they are not just providing a white paper and an idea. No, they are already providing a fully integrated solution for a real world problem. And that was our reason to say, okay, they have a solid team, clever guys, genius developer team, CTO. We're working really very close together with them. They are giving us support resources. We are giving them support. And it's this win-win situation where we saw it's not just a benefit for us of presenting our dICO capabilities, but especially also for Monaize to show the banking field, the fintech sector, which they come from, that it goes also another way. And they are, like I mentioned before, in our eyes, they are the evolution of fintech, implementing the Komodo platform into their fintech solution, into a banking as a service, and one day giving the users the ability to transfer cryptocurrencies between each other in an instant, decentralized, and fully blockchain-based way. And that's something huge. That's a big step for us, for the crypto community, for fintech, but we feel especially for the world and for the humans. And that was the reason for this partnership and for giving them this support in the dICO.
Is there anything that you'd like to add, Grohl, on regards to Monaize?
No, I think CA is the one who knows more and much better because he was the very first contact for Monaize. So I believe what he is telling is much better.
All right, guys. So you've heard it from CA and Grohl on both how awesome the KMD platform is currently being built in terms of the decentralized ICO, the atomic swaps, the privacy features. Guys, if you are interested in having Monaize on the show, remember to comment, all right, and let us know whether you'd like to bring on this awesome project for the show. Like I said, it's very exciting. I think for the fact that Monaize already existingly has an infrastructure and business built around it before they came up, because like I said, we interview a lot of projects. Crypto Grinders interviews a lot of projects on a day-to-day basis. And, when we look at anyone that says that they are a banking project and whatnot, but we do not see the infrastructure being set. And now I'm hearing for the very first time that Monaize already has that infrastructure built. They already have the right mission and vision and goal. What do you think? Do you guys want them on the show? If you all do, please feel free to comment. Guys, thank you so much for your time here. I really, really appreciate that you came by to really explain to the listeners about KMD, and also we're looking forward to the Monaize ICO. All right. So guys,
thank you. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Ryan.
Very much, guys.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you
for a good day. Grinders.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye.